Why does late mean dead? Usually if someone's late, they were supposed to be somewhere but haven't yet arrived. So, it seems a little counterintuitive that late can also describe someone who died. In other words, someone who was here but has since left. But it's actually less counterintuitive if you consider the whole breadth of ways we use late. If you love exploring the stories behind words, don't forget to subscribe for more word history insights. When the word was first adopted into Old English from Germanic tongues, people invoked it in many of the adverbial senses still common today, after the proper, right, or expected time, at or until a time far into the day or night, and relatively near the end of a period of time, season, event, etc., per the Oxford English Dictionary. Back then, and for centuries afterward, you could also use late as a synonym for recently. He had a fever late, and in the fit, he cursed thee and thine, both house and land, John Keats wrote in the Eve of St. Agnes. These days, you can't really use late in this way and expect your meaning to be understood. Still, similar senses relating to recent time remain current in late's derivatives, as in lately and to a lesser extent of late. Late as a form of deceased seems to have emerged from this subsect of meanings. In the early 1400s, people started using the word to describe something that existed or was true recently, but now is no longer the case. A late bishop could be someone who recently got promoted to cardinal. A late tenant could be someone who recently vacated the boarding house. The same word could also apply to someone who died recently, and it was around this time that this usage of late became common. Dictionaries often still reflect the recency part of the definition. To Merriam-Webster, late is living comparatively recently, now deceased. The Oxford English Dictionary says it's used for a person that was alive not long ago, but is not now, recently deceased. In everyday conversation though, people rarely take recency into consideration when using the term. This may be due to the ambiguity and relativity of recent as a length of time. In other words, how recently does your grandmother need to have died in order to qualify for the term late? There's no concrete answer. Taking the recency out of late also makes it a graceful euphemism for death at any distance. My dead husband, for example, could come off as shockingly morbid in the middle of an otherwise innocuous conversation. The clinical remove of my deceased husband might misrepresent your feelings, and my dearly departed husband is overly sentimental for certain situations. My late husband is a subtle workaround for those issues, even if the phrase's original meaning is lost on most people.